It's Nordo in for PA 9 to noon. Vocal maintenance days are in play. It is that time of the year. And we'll get to the TimberTech set list momentarily. But first, right out of the jump, we're going to head to Rocco Mediate, a longtime professional golfer. You can find him currently on the Champions Tour. And anytime there's a major, I want to have him 9 to noon. And next stop, Southampton, New York, and Shinnecock. Fun word to say, fun golf club, and it might be maybe the most difficult course on the planet, the way that I've been reading about this thing over the last couple of days. But first things first, how you doing this morning, Rocco?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing good? Yeah, absolutely. Terrific. And Graham McDowell, who I think won the 2010 Open, is in the lead early after play has resumed. A little weather out there in New York. Now, Rocco, we're going to eventually get to who you've been liking, what do you like in this tournament, and all of that. But the reason I mentioned that it might be the most difficult course on earth is everything I've been reading, Rocco, is that this is like golf's Thunderdome. And it just, some things I was reading about the 2004 U.S. Open, for instance, a Sky Sports article. 6 under par was the leading score through 36 holes. Tournament bosses wanted to present a greater challenge to players. It became a test of patience, windy conditions, sucking moisture out of the ground. Only 3 players, including eventual winner Retief Goosen, broke par in the third round, and no player managed to shoot below par in the final round. Became so difficult to putt on the green on the par 3 7th hole, the officials chose to water the greens between groups. Players were commenting after that particular tournament that the grounds crew had lost the course. Is this golf's version of the Thunderdome, Rocco?
Well, that happens sometimes with the weather, especially up there when you got Poana greens, which we have a lot of that here too in Minnesota. And they lose moisture, they wilt.
Oh.
So when they wilt, it's basically like black ice. You just don't know when it's going to happen, and the ball gets away from you. There's no moisture in it. So they lost a couple of those greens in 2004. That will not happen this year. There's moisture in the greens. As there was fog this morning. It's wet right now. The only thing that's stopping them right now a little bit is the wind, because the golf course is set up as easy condition-wise as it'll be this whole week right now. And as it keeps going on, they'll tighten the screws like they do in any major, especially USGA. So, if the wind wasn't blown at all right now, they'd tear the grass off the place because it's wet.
Yeah.
The greens are receptive and the ball's spinning back a little bit, but that will all change as the week goes on because today's a weird day with the fog and stuff. So it's a brutal place, but it's very fair, very fair.
Well, and I was curious what your mindset is or those in general that play at that high a level where, it's easy for me to say if I break 100, I'm feeling good about myself. But isn't it supposed to be as difficult as humanly possible? And just kind of seeing how they've talked about this course like it's a boogeyman. I'm thinking as a rube watching the boob tube and seeing you guys handle business, I think it's supposed to be as hard as possible. Am I right or wrong on that?
100% correct. The U.S. Open is supposed to be the most difficult test of major championship golf. Setup-wise, USGA's always been that way. They put a premium on hitting the ball where you're looking, straight, the fairways. And although Shinnecock's fairways are very wide, but the golf course was designed that way. So the golf, because it's Shinnecock Hills, it's hilly, there's no flat except for the tee boxes. So they have to give the guys room to drive if it's firm. Otherwise, you can't finish because you can't hit fairways if they're 28 yards across and it's slope. So, but I think there's 5 yards of rough and then fescue.
Okay.
So if you do miss, it's over. So, but they're giving you plenty of room. And as it firms up during the week, it's still firm now. I was watching a couple of shots this morning. It's moving out there. As it firms up during the week, the fairways will become about half the size they look. And then the green sites are so brutal, but fair, that you have to be right on it. You don't have a lot of place to land the ball when those greens firm up. If you're not right on you, it's not fun.
Well, it sounds like for better or worse, I will never take to the course at Shinnecock because I was reading this, Rocco. It's like a Stephen King novel. Shinnecock's shortest hole, the par 3 11th, 157 yards, is also its scariest. Like most great short par threes, the 11th is a high variance affair. Birdie is there for the taking, Rocco, but the smallest miscue from the tee can spiral into a double bogey. That sounds horrific.
Yeah, it's like the shortest par 5 in America, basically, right now, at 157 yards. So it's easy to make a big number there if you hit in the wrong place. Long left to any pin is, it's tough. But now I was watching the guys today from long left pitch it up close to the hole because it's soft. There's moisture out there, so they can stop it and spin it a little bit. That'll go away during the next 4 days. So yeah, it's just there's nowhere to land. If you don't land it literally in a perfect spot, it won't stay on the green. And that's how it was designed to 100 and some, 1891, I believe, that was built. So it was designed that way then. So they didn't trick it up. They didn't change anything. It's one of the few great courses they haven't touched, which is good. So but it's from start to finish. It's the U.S. Open. There's no holes you go, geez, finally I can rest. Well, you can't. It'll get you.
Is that the chase as a professional then? Like you're going into this tourney and you're like, man, a day like this where it's wet, like I can get riskier. I can try for that low number now because I know it's going to be a death trap when it dries out on the weekend.
Yeah, usually but like I said, the wind it's stained at 20 miles an hour, which is nasty. And then it's there's going to gust to 30, 35 miles an hour this afternoon. So even though it'll dry out quick now with the wind. So the guys this morning, maybe a couple hours worth, had a little bit of an advantage, but not with the wind. It's just softer.
Okay.
So you can definitely be more aggressive with the short shots. And there's not a lot of them. The par 5 third is, for the first hole, Garter up drove it in the front bunker this morning. So, like 20 minutes ago. But, with the wind blowing, it still becomes, even though it's a little softer under the greens, and the greens are only 10.5 because they can't make them faster with the wind because the ball blow right off the green. I mean, it would be like an amusement park if they had them in 12. So, they're going to let the guys play. And as the week goes on, they'll tighten it down. The conditions should change to firmer, and then we have a ball game. Par is going to be a really good score this week, at the end of the week.
Wow.
Really good score.
Graham McDowell, 2 under at this particular point, subject to change as the round continues. Means nothing, absolutely.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. No.
Very early.
It's just you got to go. There's so much golf to play, and it's great to get off to a good start because then you can make a few mistakes and be okay because you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So obviously getting a couple under, it's good. It's what you want to do, but it's a whole week of basically insanity. And the U.S. Open it's my favorite event of all time, but and especially as an American. So, but Shinnecock is magnificent. It's their 6th Open. The first one was 1896. So they've been doing this a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was designed by William Flynn, which kind of led me down this road in the first place.
He was so good. So good. Yep.
Do you have a favorite designer? Is that coffee table cigar smoking conversation and fodder, Rocco? Like who the best architects of golf courses are?
My favorite designer is George Thomas. George Thomas was a Philadelphia guy. He built Riviera, Bel Air, and L.A. Country Club all within 5-mile radius in L.A. That's the White Marsh Valley in Philadelphia. Just great stuff. I love George Thomas. But Rayner, Tilly, all those guys, they're all like Golden Valley's the Tillinghast Golf Course. I mean, there's some Ross golf courses in town, Minneapolis, a few it's off the top of my head, but I loved all the old designs because they knew what they were doing. They didn't have any machines to use. They just, it was shovels and, horses and all that stuff. There was none of this crap they're building today. So that's why you can go to Shinnecock that's been there since 1890 and play a United States Open on it. Yeah, they made it longer, added some tees, but you have to. But that's it. So it's like when you see old courses like this, how can this thing still be playable? Well, watch how the scores end up at the end of the week, all the best players in the world. So that's my favorite type of designs, ones that, were built out of the ground. They didn't move a lot of dirt, especially at Shinnecock. They didn't move a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
You couldn't. You didn't have the machines to do it. They just moved stuff around, made greens and tees, and let's go. And that's what you get.
So what goes into kind of the artistic nature of a course versus, I'm sure you've played on some courses where just given your experience, you're like, well, this is dumb. This layout is awful. Like, why did they do this? Yeah. And so you've experienced that.
Yeah, you're right. It's like it's easy for, say, a player to go in after an architect built something and go, well, I would have done this. Well, yeah, but it was a piece of raw land. Okay, it's easy to go in there and say, well, that was stupid. Well, sometimes you have to do what the land tells you to do.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they can move it. You can move millions of cubic yards of dirt now. So you can make, you can take a flat area, a dead flat piece of ground, and it have 100-foot elevations on it. So they can do whatever they want now. But if they all would go back and learn, I see all these new restorations being done, right? We're going to restore this. We're going to restore that. Well, they don't. Most of them don't. They put their little touch to it. So when the guys went into Golden Valley, obviously right down the street, they looked at Tilley's plans and did basically exactly what the plan said. So that's called restoring it. When you restore it to the actual architect's plan, okay, and Golden Valley turned out beautifully. I mean, it's one of the best restorations I've ever seen on that little place. I mean, it's remarkable. But that's what architects are supposed to do. They're not supposed to put their touch to it. If you're building your own course, do what you want. So when they go into these old places, like thank God no one touched Shinnecock. Core Crenshaw are the best restoration guys on earth, I think. So. But my point is, when you leave these babies, sometimes you have to fix things. They fall in, 100 years old, things change.
Yeah.
So you got to fix things to make them playable. Sometimes they get too much tilt, blah, 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 all that stuff. But they never touch Shinnecock, and it's been like that forever. But some of the golf courses you look at, you're like, what are you thinking? Because most of the guys that build them have never hit a shot that mattered. So it's like, bring guys in that see that and then do your work after that. It would be way more fun to do it that way. I've never done one, so I have no idea. But it's harder than it looks, let me tell you that. Nice. And these guys are good. All even the guys now. But it's the old school golf courses still hold up. Wingfoot, Riviera, although they messed around with that one. They all hold up in today's game. They've made them longer, but that's it. That's about it.
Yeah, it's just kind of beauty from an outsider's perspective, kind of understanding from cradle to grave where at some point there was just a vision and it was on paper and the ability to bring that to life. It seems very artistic to me, and it was fascinating.
It can be crazy, but think about 100 and some years ago, building a golf course. You didn't have all the stuff we have now. You had a bunch of guys clearing the land, then going, all right, we're going to put a green, moving stuff out of there by hand, basically, horses. There was nothing to do, so they built it out of nothing.
Yeah.
And they, in the 20s, they didn't have much to, Wingfoot was built in the 20s. All those old golf courses were built with nothing. Yeah, they had to slope the greens so they would drain. They didn't think about drainage back then. They didn't have drain pipes. Some courses have 80, 100 miles of drain pipes nowadays.
Wow.
To get the water out of there. But they had to do it with the land back then, which is really cool. If I would ever do one, that's what I would try to do, if the land let me do that.
When we're talking about from then to now, Rocco, how much chatter is there around technology in golf? I was reading something the other day about golf ball rollback. So there are some, testing of products, the restriction, maybe trying to pare back some of the elite high distance driving in the sport, integrity of the game type stuff. How prevalent are those chats around the course?
Well, in my opinion, they were going about it completely the wrong way. If you want to roll it back and change everything to where it's more in control, you make the driver about 25% smaller through the bag, woods, not irons, woods.
Yeah.
And then you make the ball spin too much, like we used to play back in the day. Then you become then you have to really know these kids. These kids are so good, it's ridiculous. I love watching them. They're amazing. But when you add spin to people, that means you have to have more ability to control it. So it's like the ball Cameron Young is using fits in the new in the new testing. He's 3 yards longer than he was last year with the ball that's supposed to be shorter. Okay, so they're going to and the ball Cameron Young uses does not spin much. Okay, so if you give a guy a ball that doesn't spin, he'll just hit it harder and higher and further.
Yeah.
If you give him a ball that does spin with a smaller club face, good luck on that. Because now you have to control the higher you hit it, the more it's going to spin, you see. So now we lose distance. It's real simple. It's not even that hard. I have no, it's like I always say, I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid. You want to take distance off, you add spin. Make the golf club smaller. So you can't hit any part of the face to make it go the same as if it was the middle. The middle of the face used to be important. Still is, but not as important. Mm. So that's where like I said, no one cares what I say about that. But that's the way to do it. Only way to do it. Add spin. But they're going the other way so far. I mean, they also pushed it back another 2 years. It shouldn't really take that long. First of all, I don't even know if they need to do it. But if you're going to do it, it should be, next week we're starting. Actually, we'll give you guys a month. You're really good. It'll take you a month to get used to this. This ball's going to spin 1,000 RPMs more than the one you're playing. Or no, 500, say. Good luck.
Well,
now you got to, see, now miss hits become really shorter. Just like we used to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring it back that far, but you got to take some spin, you got to add some spin to the ball to take some distance off it and make the club heads smaller. Not tiny, but smaller. And that would save a lot of time and effort. It's a pain in the butt because now they got to build new stuff. You got to do all these new golf balls. It's a nightmare when it is. I mean, the USGA is doing the best they can, but I think if they go with spin and smaller heads, you have something.
So are the efforts in this are they trying to narrow the spectrum in terms of increasing competition? Are they trying to, just create a new bar or standard? Because it does feel like the way you're talking about this, that a Cam Young, that a Rocco Mediate can go out and over the course of 2-3 months, you can adapt to that. Like I feel like your adaptability can maybe defeat or fall right in line with any new standard that they're creating for you.
It wouldn't take months at all. Because you got to figure, let's just say my 7-iron goes about the same distance it's always gone, 150-ish yards. Okay, people laugh. 7-iron, 150. Yeah, that's what it goes. That's what it's gone since I started playing the game. Okay, so let's just say Rory or Scotty. So let's say Scotty's 7-iron is comfortably 180. Just pretend that's the number.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to change that now to 165. That's as far as it's going to go in normal conditions. Downwind further, into the wind shorter. So that's a 5-minute fix. 5 minutes. It's going to spin more. You can have your launch, can do whatever you want to do, but it's going to take off at least an iron and a half. So instead of them hitting 7-irons from 185, now they're hitting 6 or 5 irons.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes it harder because it's less loft and it's harder to control than a 7-iron. You see what I mean? So it's like instead of a driver carrying 340, now it's going to carry 310. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's a change. It's like I said, 2 or 3 or a 5-yard change is not a change. I don't think they need to do it at all. Really, I think it's insane that they're going about this because they never did it in the old days. But you think these guys hit it far now? Why do you see what's coming down the pike? It's going to get even nastier. These kids are stronger. I mean, next thing they're going to do is say, you guys can't work out. You're too strong. you see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
It's but, the golf courses are majors, as you see, like this week where it's 7,400 yards long, which is a little longer than we played on the tour. We averaged 7,000. 7,000, 7,100 all those years. So it's a little longer than normal. But with firm conditions, it's really not. See, the ball is going to, you're flying at you're playing a 500-yard par 4. I think there's one or two of them at Shinnecock. Okay, and you fly at 310 and it rolls 30. It's an 8-iron. 7-iron in. You see, so, if the ball rolls out to 350 yards, you have 150 yards in the middle of the green. It's a 500-yard par 4.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I
So back in the old days, we don't want to go back to the old days with the old, wound balls with the rubber bands in there. But a 500-yard par 5 in college and my first, most of the time on the tour, early years, it was a driver and a 3-wood. Maybe you could get there. Maybe. Because think about it, that's 250 and 250. So It's like a 450-yard par 4 back in the old days was a driver and a 3-iron. Now it's a flip for them. So it's changed. It's changed. And I'm talking, let's say, even Davis Love, who was our longest player on the tour in the days back then, who was one of the best strikers of all time, if he was playing a 450-yard par 4, he'd be hitting some kind of 6 or 7 in there. We'd be hitting 3, 4, or 5, or 5, something like that. He was the longest into a 450-yard hole. That was long back then.
Wow.
Now it's like driving a pitch. Mm-hmm. But the kids it's okay. They're getting bigger and stronger. Is the equipment helping? Of course it is. But I'll use a good word. Their physicality, if that makes sense, it's all changed. I mean, Goddard basically drove it on the first green today at Shinnecock. He hit it, 10 yards into the left bunker, past front of the green. I mean, he's a monster. So don't take that away. But if you're going to make it, if you want to bring the ball back, the only way to do it is add spin. And the only way to fix that is make the driver smaller. But I say let him go. It's fun to watch. It's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
That's insane. It's so much fun to watch.
That's Rocco Mediate, more than 4 decades. Professional golf made it his life, and you can catch him on the Champions Tour. I got a couple more for you, and then we'll put a wrap on this. And just so thankful for your time.
No problem.
This popped in my head when I knew you were going to join. Golf has enjoyed a ton of people that we root for over the years. The brands, right? Tiger's a brand, maybe Scheffler's a brand today, Rory maybe. But has golf ever had a villain? And did you ever play with a villain? Like the perception now on the outset, maybe he's a villain to the fans and you guys are all enjoying a beverage together in the clubhouse after a round, but a villain. Is there one that comes to mind for you?
I don't know about villains. Patrick Reed was a villain for a while there. I love Patrick Reed, by the way. He's going to be contending this week. You watch. But I say Scheffler was going to finish off the Grand Slam. I've been saying it for 4 months. But Patrick, I've met him once, but he was like a villain from some of the stuff that they said he did.
Yeah.
He was a Ryder Cup, star. I want him on any team, but I don't know if it's really a villain. He was just different. But there was never any bad guys when I was around. I don't know if there were any guys that everybody didn't like or was just not a nice person. I'm sure there were, but I didn't really see any of it. So I don't think I knew any villains per se. I mean, like I said, Patrick was perceived as one, but is he? No, he's really not.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, and I assumed you were going to go that route in terms of just got along with most people, because there is kind of on the outset, it's almost as if you're not living in a real universe, Rocco, where we got the heroes and the heels, if that makes sense, the guys that everybody roots for, the guys that are hoping he puts it in the water, and Reed is a name that has probably come up on that latter side of things in recent years, but it's just getting a peek in the inside at how you guys as competitors in the middle of a rat race can still find ways to become friends, share intel, and almost in some ways work together communally in some respects. It's just fun to get a peek on the inside of that.
Yeah, you always respect the office. I mean, sure, there's certain guys you don't get along with or you don't like the way they do things, but is the way I do things or whoever we're talking about right also? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's easy to say, well, this guy would never do that. Well, who cares? It's like you're all out there trying to beat the crap out of each other, and most of us are all friends. Like on the Champions Tour, we've known each other 3,000 years. You know, and there's you still, you know, if someone asks you for help, and I get that some, you know, on the Champions Tour, I'm first of all, I'm honored that they asked. See, because you know what I mean. So it's like we all help each other if there's, you know, if you ask. I mean, if you go to any player on the Champions Tour and say, hey, take a look at my putting. What do you think about this? We'll go, all right. There's no like, I don't have time or get away from me. No, yeah, let's go hit a few putts. Something like that. That happened on the regular tour when I was out there too. I was always too afraid to ask people to help me. I was always too like, I'm not going to bother him. He's not going to watch this. But it's probably the same on the regular tour now. I don't know. I haven't been out there. This is 14 years on the Champions Tour now, so I haven't seen much. But I don't know if it's the same or not. You know, they always say, well, the kids aren't the same as we were. Well, are they supposed to be? I don't know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Speaking of the Champions Tour, Zach Johnson just rolling in and taking everybody's money this spring. I saw Zach Johnson join the Champions Tour I think it was back in March.
Yeah, he did. He's won twice. He'll do quite well. Zach is a great player. He was really good on the PGA Tour. A couple majors, 15 or 16 wins. He's been very, very good, and he'll do well out here too. Stuart Sink still leads the way. Scott Henn just got his privileges. These guys hit it 14 miles. And you know, it's like I always tell the guys that outdrove you on the regular tour, guess what? They outdrive you on this tour too. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed.
It's Scotty's money this weekend at Shinnecock, you think?
I really feel, I've been saying that for the whole year. I think he knocks off this Grand Slam. He's played very well this year, just not like last year.
Right.
And I think this week we'll separate. That's just what I just, you know, Rory's going to be around. Hopefully they're all around at the end. It'd be great to have all the top guys and a couple guys that aren't the top guys. U.S. Opens do that. You know, they definitely do that. So it's just a matter of who can control. I'm watching some of it now. It's a lot brighter. Wind's still cooking, but they have the conditions to shoot a score today if they can handle this wind as far as the greens.
Yeah.
Because all kinds of putts are coming up short because they're not used to 10.5 speeds.
Hey, thanks as always, man. This is always a blast when you come on 9 to noon. I appreciate it. Thanks for the intel, and we'll catch up again soon, right?
Anytime. Yeah, we'll do it to the British for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, dude. Take care.
That's Rocco Mediate, kicking off 9 to noon, the U.S. Open in play, the unforgiving Greens of Shinnecock Hills in Southampton, New York. Again, just kind of reading this thing, Brett, as we kick off 9 to noon here. I'm reading about this thing, and they are making it sound like it is the most difficult golf course that anybody has ever seen. And so expecting, par, as Rocco said. I'll trust Rocco. He's the expert here. Par is going to be a good score this weekend, isn't it?
It seems like the course is just a monster as far as guys are getting fresh wedges just because of the bunkers and how coarse the sand is, and they need fresh grooves to be able to spin the ball out of the bunkers. So we'll see how that plays out. I would like to see Scotty complete it just for history's sake, and to add his name to that collection of a great historic name. So I'd like to see that, and interested to see how the tournament plays out.
Holy cats. Yeah, he's walking off the green. Maybe he's on the second hole, but the wind is freaking whipping. That kicks off a TimberTech set list 9 to noon. It is Nordo in for PA, and the U.S. Open underway. So I wanted to catch up with Rocco, and TimberTech.com brings you the TimberTech set list 9 to noon. At 10 a.m., Lieber, weekly guest, Vikings-related fodder with him. And then at 11 a.m., I'm excited about this. We had him on a week or two ago, Papa from Ghana. And he lives in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and massive soccer fan that PA and I encountered. It's got to be like 12 years ago, maybe World Cup 2014. So there'll be a soccer-related conversation, but he's going to come in studio. And not just the soccer end of it, World Cup going on once every 4 years. I'm obsessed with the tournament, so I'm going to talk about it. But another aspect of this is just understanding culturally the passion that guys like Papa have, and what soccer means in Ghana, what soccer means culturally in Africa. And I'm so excited to learn today from Papa. And if you're interested in learning as well, that's going to be at 11 o'clock. Really pumped for that. It's all part, again, of the Timber Tech set list. Brett Blakemore, you heard him. He's producing 9 to noon today. And when we return, something that is unlikely, but had me really excited for about 5 to 7 minutes last night. We'll talk about that around the corner, 9 to noon.
You're listening to Eric Nordo.
You already listen. Well, now you can watch The Fan. You can check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials and password games, behind-the-scene content, and more. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today, or go to KFAN.com/watch.
If given the opportunity, Brett, would you golf with a professional?
100%.
Yeah.
I'd embarrass myself, but I can't be the worst golfer they've ever golfed with. I just can't be. So, yes.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't be if I had played with them shortly prior.
Yeah.
Not very good. Now, part of that, by the way, is just I don't golf very often.
That'll do it.
Super casual on the course. But I was thinking about it just through the conversation with Rocco and just in general. Like, I think it would almost be insulting. Like, this is something in Rocco's case, by the way, he's been on a course basically every day for the last 4 decades. And so, from that standpoint, I just picture the idea of going out there, and this guy's been working at such a high level, and he has made this his career. And then I roll out there and just embarrassment's kind of on the small end. I feel like I'd be insulting him. Entering the studios now, special guest via the Power Trip Morning Show, Meat Sauce, Paul Lambert. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. This is about to be a Rosen-like name-dropping segment.
All right,
but
sweet.
I can speak on what you guys are talking about. I've played golf with Rocco. I was playing golf with Tom Bernard, get the ding out.
Okay.
And I was probably the worst golfer. This is like 10 plus years ago, maybe longer.
When you were first getting into it.
Yeah. And he stopped me about 6 holes in and said, I can't watch this anymore. And gave me a 10-minute lesson. He's like, you're so bad at this. I can't watch you play anymore. And he's like, you got to move and you got to use your arms. And then we went on but he was a good time. He was super nice, but he was he literally goes, I can't watch you hit you can't watch you hit the ball like that anymore. But yeah, so I can speak on what you guys are talking about. I don't mean to clop, but
No, that's perfect, though, because that is Rocco. For better or worse, he's going to be honest. Yeah, amazing dude. And I thought where this was going, to be truthful, I can't watch you play like this anymore. I thought he was just going to hop in the cart and drive off.
Well, I think that was what he was going to do, and he not had the patience to just show me a few quick things. But speaking of Rocco being Rocco, 2 weeks ago I'm playing golf with Parker at the club at Golden Valley.
Another ding, please.
And there's Rocco standing there on the golf court, on the driving range with a speaker as loud as it'll go, listening to Danzig. He loves heavy metal music.
Yeah.
And he was just as loud as it'll go. No one will tell him you can't do that. So, yeah, I didn't mean to clump, but I wanted you to know that.
Well, it's perfect you brought that up. He is big-time buddies with Alex Lifeson from Rush.
Oh, yeah.
And so, huge Rush fan, but he is absolutely into heavy rock music.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talked to me about that before. Yeah, no big deal. Thinking of Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you can move down a stall.
Yeah, Rocco, move. Yeah. I went down far as I could. It was 7:10 in the morning. That's too early for Danzig.
He's ripping Danzig.
Yeah, he loved it. I love you.
Oh, love you, brother. That's Meat Sauce, Paul Lambert. Yeah, so that's where...
Sounds like a great time to me.
It would be a blast. Yeah. It would be a blast.
I'm a metal guy.
Maybe I'd accept a lesson. But again, it's just... I wouldn't want to insult him. That would be the exact same result. So Rocco and I are in the cart, and we're talking about Limelight. We're talking about
barbecue, probably.
Yeah, we're talking about Pert. We're talking about Geddy Lee. We're talking about all that. But then eventually, I'm going to have to take a shot, and I can't hide out there. Eventually, he's going to see what this thing looks like.
Can't fake it.
From the backswing and through, and there's a little bit of knee, there's a little too much hip, there's forward momentum is embarrassing because
sway.
I'm overweight. Yeah, there's a bit of swaying. Am I on my toes or am I on my heels? Kind of lose my grip because I don't want to actually pay for golf spikes. Now I'm spinning around like an idiot. Fix the slice, but now I got this weird draw thing that is completely inconvenient on half the course. And then the putting. Oof. The putting. He was patient enough to give Saucer a lesson. He would walk off the course if he had to play around with me. But that just, I'm watching this thing, man. This course is ugly. It's as bad as advertised. Not bad, but it's as tough as advertising. Now we got Scheffler. We got Scheffler on the tee, I think at 2. Oh my goodness. He's gonna drive here. What's the hole? Hole yardage 251. He's working with an 18-mile-an-hour wind.
What channel is this on?
A little bit to his right. I'm just watching USA. All right, Scheffler starts left. Gonna just fade just a hair. Oh, look at okay. Look at this.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, yeah. So if I was sitting there on that green, I'm probably laying 4, putting 5 after I put it OB.
Think about that though. If you're Steve, if you're Meat Sauce, and now you've got a free lesson out of frustration.
Yes,
you've annoyed him so much that you get a free lesson from a pro.
It's a beautiful thing. Rocco's a beauty. There's no doubt about that. Let's pause and catch up on the clock. It's Nordo in for PA 9 to noon. Ben Lieber in studio at 10.
You're listening to Nordo in for PA.
Clearly, I need, whether it's the NBA draft next Tuesday, free agency in a couple weeks. We really don't have to wait much longer for some answers to the roster questions with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but I need it to be here. Tim Connolly moving mountains, potentially, and making this team better into the fall. Because this is one of the, again, not going to happen, but still. I was trolling around on X last night while I was waiting for Ghana to secure a winner in their game, which they did. Decided to talk to Papa about that. But I saw this on X from Mark Spears. Trae Young plans to decline his $48.97 million contract, his player option, for the 2026-2027, and will become, as they call in the business, a free agent.
Oh my gosh.
And it just stirred something up on an otherwise just rudimentary, routine Wednesday night. Because it's all that, Howl Nation is thinking about. How are we going to compete with the Spurs? How are we going to compete with OKC? How do we get the most out of Ant? And does that include having a true point guard? But my goodness, Trae Young declining the player option. Think about just saying no to $50 million. Not going to happen, but still. How good would he be on this team? It's a two-man show up top. Trae Young averaging 11 assists 2 seasons ago when he played all the games. He's still just 27, of course, traded to the Wizards last year. I think he only played 10 or 15 games in total last year. Historically, fairly hideous defender. Could be a size thing. Usually an effort thing. I mean, I think he could muster up the effort to play defense with a series on the line. So I don't really spend too much time on that. We've talked about it. These guys all can play defense when they want to. I was talking to somebody last night, kind of part of his game, you need a big man for lobs. Does that mean then that Rudy remains in the mix? Or maybe does Baron J learn to love lobs? I think if forced to, he could find his way there. Not going to happen, but still. I need the draft. I need free agency to be here because I spent at least 10 minutes last night feverishly texting, trying to find out how this thing could potentially work. The tough thing, you're threading a needle of having to free up cash before you can even make a move for him. So that's really the key. And you got to consummate a deal then that is palatable for Trey at the same time. That means Tim Connolly basically doesn't sleep this weekend. But I think the Wizards, the reason this is most unlikely is there's an unselfish nature to this potentially, where we just saw it with Jalen Brunson. Signs for less money. Eventually he'll get his, but he signed for less money on the short time, on the front end, so that they could find themselves a Karl Anthony Towns and add some pieces around with Brunson. And I think that's a similar thing that's happening here with the Wizards. I think they're tricking Trey and themselves into building something here. And the opting out, you're like, holy cats, he just said no to $50 million. Well, he's most likely going to re-sign with the team, get a little bit less on the short end, but then ultimately in the long term, again, he's only 27. He's going to find his way to another fat contract. Like maybe if he's only making 40 instead of 50, what difference that makes in terms of the luxury tax and the 7 different aprons and all of those various things. But the Wizards, man, I wonder what that connection is there. Apparently he loves DC, and I think he's a Texas native, maybe even went to high school in Oklahoma. Of course, he played with the Sooners in college. And just weird, the connection there, because I'm looking at this roster in the capital city. They got the wrong Champagny. It's Justin instead of Julian from the Spurs. They got the wrong George instead of Kaishan versus Utah's Keontae. No relation, by the way. Alex Sarr certainly, I think, can be good. He's young. But then they got D'Lo and Anthony Davis. So trade viability, likely none, given Sarr, given AD is still there. And just the opt-out to an unselfish move to build around him. I don't think I never considered that I would actually say this, but the Washington Wizards, a team to potentially watch this summer. So not going to happen, but still, I need the draft. I need free agency to be here. As I saw that news last night and quickly texted one of our local insiders, and he poured a bunch of cold water all over my coals. So back to reality, but just how this team gets better, how quickly we start to see things move as potentially early before the draft, to then once the free agency frenzy works, a team that indeed seems to be very, very active into the 2026-27 campaign. Not going to include Trae Young in the mix, but for about 10 minutes last night, just the intriguing nature of what that would look like with Anthony Edwards, that type of player with Ant, pining for it. I really, really am. Can't wait for the draft next week. Can't wait for free agency. Trae Young, you can cross him off the list. Not going to happen, but still, how cool would it be? Ben Lieber is next, 9 to noon.